Hello everyone, I am Jyoti. In this video, I am going to discuss about the overview of ELT and ETL and also going to discuss the major differences between ELT and ETL. What is ELT? ELT means extract, load, transform, and it is a process of extracting data from one or multiple sources and loading into the target warehouse, which means that instead of transforming the data before its return, ELT takes advantage of the target system to do the data transformation. And in this approach, it requires lower remote sources than other techniques because it needs more raw data and unprepared data. And how it works. Coming to this point, how it works, which means that it consists of majorly three steps. One is extraction, second one is loading, and the third is transformation. Let us understand each step. What is extraction? Extraction means it is the first step that involves in the ELT operation, which means that extraction, it involves the copying data from the source system, and the copy data is then moved to the next step, that is loading. What happens in loading? In this loading step, the pipeline replicates data from the source into the target system, which might be a data warehouse or a data lake. And finally, the data from this data warehouse and the data lake is moved into the next step, that is transformation. Once the data in the target system is loaded, organizations can run whatever transformations they need. Often, organizations will transform raw data in different ways for use with different tools or business process. And this is the process how the ELT works actually. First, starting from the extraction, it's finally end with the transformation step. And coming to the benefits of ELT, it has more benefits which is equal to the ETL operations. Here I listed a few benefits. One is simplifying management, which means that ELT separates the loading and transformation tasks, minimizing the interdependencies between these processes, lowering risks, and streamlining project management. And second benefit is that future-proof data sets. ELT implementations can be used directly for data warehousing systems, but oftentimes ELT is used in the data take approach in which data is collected from a range of sources. This is combined with the separation of the transformation process and which makes it easier to make the future changes to the data warehouse structure. And third one is leveraging the latest technologies, which means that harm harness the power of new technologies in order to push improvements, security, and complements across the enterprise. And ELT also leverages the negative compatibles of modern cloud data warehouse and big data process frameworks. And next benefit is that lowering costs. Like most cloud services and cloud-based ELT can be result in lower cost of ownership. So it takes lower cost. Next is flexibility. The ELT process adaptable and flexible. So it is suitable for any kind of businesses, applications, and goals. And finally, it is scalability. The most benefit is scalability because since the cloud infrastructure and the hosted services like integration platform as a service, which means iPaaS, and the software as a service, SaaS, gives organizations the ability to expand the resources on the fly, and they add the compute time and storage space necessary for massive data transformation tasks. So ELT has more benefits by these types of points. Next, going to ETL. What is ETL? ETL means extract, transform, and load. And it is a process that extracts the data from different source systems, then transforms the data like applying calculations, concatenations, etc. And finally loading the data into the data warehouse system. Let us understand this in clear way by using the three steps involved in it. And it also consists of three steps as like ELT. First one is extract. Since the extract step is both common in both ELT and ETL operations, and this ETL, the data is extracted from the source system to the staging area After extraction, it will transform the data, which means that the extracted data from the source server is raw and is not usable in its original form. Therefore, it needs to be cleaned, mapped, and transformed. In fact, this is a key step where ETL process adds value and change data such that insightful BI reports can be generated. In transformation step, you can perform customized operations on data. For example, if the user wants to sum of the sales revenue, which is not in the database, or if the first name and the last name in the table is in different columns, it is possible to contact them before loading in this transformation step. After the transformation step has been done, it will load the data into the data warehouse, and that is the loading step. Loading data in the target data warehouse database is the last step of the ETL process. In a typical data warehouse, huge volume of data needs to be loaded in a relatively short period of time. Hence, load process should be optimized for performance. And these are the three steps involved in ETL performance. Next, why do we need ETL? Yeah, why we need ETL is that because there are many reasons of using this ETL in the data warehousing process. It helps the companies to analyze their business data for taking critical business decisions. And it also provides a method of moving the data from various sources into a data warehouse. And not only that, it is well designed and documented ETL system is almost essential to the successful of data warehouse project, and it also allows the verification of data transformation, aggregation, and calculations rules. And moreover, ETL process allows sample data comparison between the source and the target system. And this ETL process can also perform the complex transformations and requires the extra area to store the data. And it not only this, the ETL can help to migrate data into a data warehouse and converts to the various formats and transform it to a consistent system. And it also it is a since it is a predefined process for accessing and manipulating source data into a target database, and ETL is a data warehouse which offers deep historical context for the business. And these are the few benefits of ETL, and which clearly explains why we need ETL. Coming, yes, as so far we have seen what is ELT and what is ETL. Let us understand what are the major differences between ELT and ETL. Coming to each parameter, now I am going to discuss. There are totally 14 parameters, and I'm going to clearly explain how each parameter is different in both ELT and ETL. The first parameter is process. In the process way, how this makes the difference. In ETL, the data is transformed in the staging server and then moved to the data warehouse database. Whereas in ELT, data remains in the database of the data warehouse. And this is the process step. And next one is the transformation. As transformation wise, transformation is done in the ETL server and staging area, whereas in ELT, transformation is performed in the staging area itself. And next is code uses, how the code uses is done. In ETL, the code is used for a small amount of data, whereas in a ELT it is used for a vast amount of data. And next is load time. Comparing the load time, the ELT is loaded into the target system only once, and so the time taken by the ELT is less compared to the ETL. In ETL, firstly the data is loaded in the staging and later loaded in the target system, so it takes more time compared to ELT. And next is transformation time. Comparing the transformation time, the ETL process needs time for transformation completion. As the data size grows, transformation time increases. Whereas in ELT, the process speed never depends upon the size of the data. And next one is maintenance time. How the data maintenance is being done in both the ELT and ETL. Comparing these two, it The ETL process need high maintenance as we select the data to load and transfer, whereas in ELT, it needs low maintenance as the data is available all the time. And next one is implementation complexity. What is implementation complexity comparison? In this, in ELT, it is easier to implement in an earlier stage, whereas in ETL, to implement the ETL process, organizations should have an in-depth of knowledge and expert skills and tools in order to implement in the point of implementation complexity. Next one is data lake support. In ETL, it doesn't require any data lake, whereas in ELT, it allows the users of data lakes with unstructured data. Next one is support for data warehouse. How the support is being done in ELT and ETL. Let us see that. In ETL model, it is used for relational and structured data, whereas in ELT, it is used in scalable cloud infrastructure which supports both structured and unstructured data. Coming to complexity point, the ELT involves development only from output backward and loading only relevant. Whereas in ETL, the process loads only the essential data, which is identified at design time. Comparing the cost of both ELT and ETL, the cost of ELT include low entity cost using the online software as a service platform, whereas the ETL process, the cost is high for small and medium businesses. Lookups. In a ELT, the all data will be available because extract and load occur in a one single action, whereas in ETL process, dimensional facts needs to be available in the staging area. Next is calculations. In ETL, the existing column is overwritten or need to be append the data set and push to the target platform, whereas in ELT, it is easy to add column to the existing table. Comparing the hardware between ELT and ETL, in ETL, the tools have unique hardware requirement which is expensive, and whereas in ELT, it is a new concept as it is a complex to implement. So the hardware infrastructure is more in ETL. And coming to supports for unstructured data, how both are being supporting, let us compare that. In ETL, it supports the relational data, whereas the ELT, it helps in unstructured, readily available data. And these are the 14 major differences that are being identified between ELT and ETL. Concluding these all, let us summarize this. ETL means it is extract, transform, and load, whereas ELT means it is extract, load, and then transform. I hope we all have understood what are the major differences between these two. In ETL, the data flow from the data source is staging to the data destination, and whereas in ELT, the data destination is reached easily. In ELT, lets the data destination do the transformation, eliminating the need for data staging. In ETL can be help with the data privacy and compliance, cleaning sensitive data before loading to the data destination, while ELT is simpler and for comparisons with the minor data needs. Thank you.